Hello, everybody. Here's Natasha from the Feminine Space podcast, and welcome to the 6th episode of Discovering and Living Your True Soul Purpose. And today we are welcomed by another beautiful lady all the way from across the world. Well, it depends on where you are in the world in the first place. But we have Elyse-Anne from Singapore, and she is your trusted spiritual business coach, helping spiritual entrepreneurs start the right business that's closer to God, get your greatest work out into the world, and to enjoy miraculous wealth. So thank you for coming on, Elyse-Anne. And it's such a pleasure because what you do is so needed in this world.
Thank you. Hey, I'm Elyse-Anne. I'm from Singapore. I'm in Singapore right now. So happy to have you. So happy to have me on your show, actually.
Likewise. So this is a very special gift that you're giving to the world. I mean, people like you and me, I doubt that we were like spiritual business owners or coaches like at the very beginning, because this is something it's almost as if it's a huge surge that's coming out in the world, because I see empaths turning into healers or coaches or practitioners just like left and right. It feels like people are really waking up to, oh, I can do something for the world or for other people. So how did you stumble upon this yourself, or what did you experience that allowed you to do what you do today?
Well, to be honest, I didn't think I had this intention of growing up to become a coach or become a healer or have this big dream, because I live in Singapore, right? So it's a very small country, and I used to think that, why am I in Singapore? What am I supposed to do here? But I think along the way, when you ask the question, is there more to life? That is when, the universe starts to answer you that question. And I started as a flight attendant, so as a stewardess, and for about 10 years, and I never thought that I was going to retire from that job. So what happened was, I think it got to a point where it was so bitchy, so backstabbing, and all I did when I woke up was to complain, bitch, and talk about everybody else, and to climb the corporate ladder, right? So you got to kind of like put everybody down and climb up. So, and then at some point you get really tired and you ask yourself, is this what I'm going to do for the rest of my life? But at that time I was very unconscious, but my mom was really starting on this journey. She was starting to talk to angels, and I'm like, this crazy woman talk to angels, like what? So one day I just thought, hey, you know what, maybe I'm just gonna try to talk to angels and see who's the crazy one. So that's when I told her I want to enroll in this class, and I did, and I was expecting to see physical angel floating down from the heavens and but no, it wasn't. What happened in the first session was to connect with yourself, connect with a higher voice, trying to channel and do automatic writing, which all my classmates did, and I couldn't do it. So I'm like, okay, there's something wrong with me and not them. So that was when it piqued my interest, because everyone else was doing it, right? So there must be something out there that I don't understand, but it's me. So that was when I went home, I burned 2 candles and held on to 2 crystal balls and tried to meditate and get to somewhere. So that was the beginning of it. And eventually I did meditate, and I went to this realm, and then one thing when one thing, caught on the other, and that was it. And I started my spiritual journey. That was 10 years ago. Yeah, that's how I started.
Yeah. I mean, you'd say 10 years ago. To some people that seems long and short. And I always feel that once something happens, once you experience something, it's almost as if you can't go back anymore.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's as if, oh my goodness, I'm so surprised by how quickly things are actually changing and progressing, and it's just on its own unfolding.
Yeah. I think spiritual journey is a label on its own, but I think everybody is on a spiritual journey. I think the term spirituality can be very dividing as well. But at the end of the day, we are all searching for meaning. We are all trying to find ourselves, whether or not we are spiritual. So, but spirituality it's the word for it. Oneness is another word. But yeah. But on the journey, in the journey, on the journey, there are many levels of development. The ego follows you. And I realized not many people talk about this. There's a flip side of spirituality, which is the dark side as well. I think in the path of finding yourself, sometimes we, dig a hole for ourselves as well. Like, what's worse? Is there something else? Is there what's wrong with me? Digging deeper and deeper and trying to find that there's something wrong with me. I think that's, again, an addiction, might not be spiritual, but it's a journey on. It's not the spiritual. I mean, it's not that it's not spirituality, but it's a journey. So I think for me right now, even though I am spiritual for such a long time, I think every single year, every single month, every single day is a journey. It's not like, oh, every Sunday I go to church or every Sunday I do my meditation and that's good enough. It's every single day. It's every day. It's a daily work. So even though I have rituals, but I have the ego as well. I think that is where we have to learn that the ego goes hand in hand with our development. Fear goes hand in hand with our development. And every day we have a choice. So most people think, even for spiritual people, they think that they have no choice, but we do. So this last couple of years, it was very tough for me, even as a spiritual person. And sometimes you wonder, why am I going through such a difficult time as a spiritual person, as a child of God, as a messenger of God, or you want to do good work? Why are you playing a trick on me? But as you mature, you realize that all these stuff that happens to you is a necessary step, so to speak, to climb higher, to release all these baggages. And I think this year actually was one of the hardest years for me, but I had to grow up. Spirituality is not just about drinking green juice and all is well. It's really I think Michael Backwood said this, most people are afraid of hell, but paraphrase, but spiritual people have gone to hell and come back. And a lot of spiritual people think that I want to be in this la mode so that I don't want to be tainted by the negative stuff. I want to remain pure. But the reason why we become spiritual is so that we can clear ourselves of the baggages and then go to where we are needed and help these people to rise up. So there's no fear within us. So this year I had to walk through a lot of my fears and I had to grow up. So we look at men, we know this, we look at a 36-year-old man and you can tell whether he's a man or he's a boy. Similarly with a woman, you can tell whether she's a woman or she's a girl. So a lot of us need to wake up. Yes, that's one thing. A lot of us need to grow up as well. And me fast approaching 40, I think this year is the year that I can finally say I am a woman because I've grown up. Otherwise, there's a lot of avoiding. And with spiritual people, right? Oh, I'm just going to meditate things away and I'm just going to
think positive it away.
Positive things away. But it's running away. And there's a difference, like Elizabeth Gilbert said, there's a difference between being childish and childlike. And I think a lot of us, you can see the politicians, they're so childish, right? And you can see a lot of leaders as well, they're so childish. So it's about us growing up, evolving and understanding and looking at the dark sides of ourselves and actually accepting it. And so it's not about what's wrong with me. There is nothing wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with me. It's just that there are a lot of stuff that we need to go through to grow up. And now when I look back of course at that point, I felt like, oh my God, this is terrible. Why me, right? But on hindsight, this was the best thing that has ever happened because I no longer am afraid. Yeah. And I think this year, like now, I can really say I trust in God. Otherwise, a lot of people say, I trust in God, I believe in God. But do you really? But we're so much in control. In the Course of Miracles, it says, if you're in control, if you want to be in control, you're in competition with God. And you cannot serve the ego and expect rewards from God. And, going through the Course in Miracles, it's my 70th day now, I think has really changed a lot of my perspective. And in it also says God has only one function for you, which is to be the light of the world. That's your only function, and that's only why you're here. Yeah. And so only God's plan is for us, and that is to be the light of the world. And to be the light of the world means we have to operate out of love, right?
not only operate out of love, but when we see another soul at a really dark place, or when we find ourselves in that negative spiral, just kind of, I guess, emotionally or mentally out of control, because the thinking can go really wild, and the virtual reality that we kind of live in, the fog can be so thick that suddenly the perception, the fear, the worries, whatever, can be so great that that seems to be the only thing in the world. But to know that spirituality isn't, can I do my best when everything is well, but can I do the best, as in following what I know is true when it doesn't seem that way through my perception or through the thinking that I have. And I resonate so much with everything that you say. I think this is the true value that you bring to people so that they become resilient, not in their personal life, but also in their business too. I think I want to bring it back to what you do, because when I started my business, first there was that spark of, oh, there is more, or I'm asking what is more, or people around me. It was actually my husband. He was a life coach before I was. And someone in my life took that leap, started that journey, and I followed in a way. So first there was that spark. And then there's that second part where I go, wow, is there so much in me that I can actually make this into my work? Can I actually give this further or spread this further? So in that second step, I found that I was really pulled out of my comfort zone, and I was really pushed beyond what I know. Just stand out there in the world and speak my truth, to show up, and like you say, you have to grow up, not just from life's lessons, but I find also, especially when you're starting your own business, especially when you're coming across as a personal brand and you're communicating out to the world, and people can smell it if you're just not authentic, or did you just copy that from someone else? Like, that's not you. What are you teaching? People can smell it if it's not quite right. So tell me a bit more about what your clients go through, or this phase where, okay, I'm creating my work or I'm changing my career. How does that relate to everything that you mentioned just now?
That's a great question. I think in this era right now, it's no longer find a good job and then you pay bills and you die. I think a lot of people are asking themselves this question, why am I here? And they know that they're kind of like misfits, right? I think there is this thing online right now where they tell people to quit their jobs, you can start a business and travel around the world. I think that is so irresponsible, because just like I don't think if we become doctors, I don't think we will have any clients, because we're not meant to be doctors. We're not meant to be aeronautical engineers, I don't think the aircraft would take off, it will probably explode. So I think it's about really knowing yourself. Starting the right business is first knowing yourself. What's your interest? Even within my own coaching business or whatever business I am in, I'm always following the flow. So I will always be in the right business, and so you don't have to quit your job just to enjoy that freedom. You don't have to start the business to enjoy that freedom. So you have to first begin to know yourself. Not everybody's supposed to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody's supposed to be an engineer. Not everybody's supposed to be a doctor. Not everybody's supposed to be a judge. Not everybody's supposed to be something else. Imagine if everybody were to be entrepreneurs, then what? So not everybody's supposed to be psychics. That's why there is variety. That's why the soul is here to experience life. And so we are here in this era where we are really breaking free from the pack, breaking free from what the society has conditioned us to do, like go find a job, like, and slog for the rest of your life, and that kind of thing. So first you have to really understand yourself. Most people don't find the time to understand themselves. No, most people don't know who they are. And starting a business it requires a lot of growing up. It requires a lot of tenacity. It requires a lot of grit. It requires a lot of bravery. And not everybody wants to do that. So you must know your capabilities as well. There are so many people that I know who have a lot of money, but they're not just entrepreneur material. start a business, and they lose their money. So it's a waste of money, because that 120,000 could be used to do so many other things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think you really first have to know who you are, and your capabilities, and then expand from that. What's your passion? Yes, we can always monetize the passion. So if you start a business just for the sake of starting and you have no passion, you'll quit within 6 months because it's too hard. And your heart's not there. You're not waking up with fire. You're not waking up with like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. So I think, times has changed as well, where, you can see the way business are changing, more eco-friendly, more responsible, social enterprises sprouting here and there. So the traditional business has to change their model as well. Why? Because consciousness has raised. Our consciousness we have higher consciousness now, and we feel we are more responsible. And so therefore our business model has to change as well. And it always begins with us, Yeah. So at the end of it all, the fundamental is you have to know yourself. That is when you know yourself, before, if you don't know yourself, don't know what you want to do, you hire a business coach, that's a waste of money. And in the coaching industry, there is a lot of people who are burned and hurt, thinking coaching is the magic pill. I hire a coach, can get me from where I am to where I want to be. But it really begins with you. Like you talked about the copying message early on, because you don't know who you are. Essentially, we all teach the same thing. We teach love. We teach getting to know each other. But what is different is if you as a coach or a teacher or guru or whatever you want to call yourself, actually walk through the journey authentically on your own, you have a lot of stories to tell. Then there's no fear of copying other people. All our programs are quite similar, because I actually went to check them out. It's just a matter of who do you want to learn from. Do you want to learn from Natasha, or do you want to learn from Elyse? Do you want to coach from Natasha, or do you want to coach with Elyse? We're all essentially trying to help people to evolve and to get to know who they are. But it is our personality that attracts the kind of clients. So again, it goes back to, if you know who you are, if you don't run away from your lessons, then you have a lot to teach, you have a lot to share. There's no need to copy. When you think you need to copy, that is when you need to, oh my God, I've lost myself. I don't know who I am. So that's a great place to start.
Yes. I mean, it's almost as if I was young again, because when I took drawing lessons when I was younger as a child, the very Asian or Chinese way would be just to copy the friggin' drawing. Draw the drawing until you get good at drawing drawings, and then maybe you can draw an egg. And from then on, when I immigrated to Canada, I was given the opportunity, I honestly thought, the responsibility in art class to do whatever I wanted. And so sometimes it's good that we have the building blocks, be like, okay, how is it done? Or how does it work for other people? Have those 1, 2, 3 Lego pieces, and then eventually form them the way that you want to. And so you bring such a refreshing perspective. I honestly have to say, not everyone brings it like it is. A lot of people try to sugarcoat or sell what creating a business is like, what the spiritual journey is like, what the end goal is like. And as much as we help people to arrive at a certain goal, you and I have a very deep understanding that, yes, that beautiful process can be great. It can bring you back into alignment with yourself. But at the end of the day, all those beautiful feelings, that fulfillment isn't just checking it off. Whoa, I paid, $10,000 for this coach and I did it, check. And then, oh, I feel good now. It's not about that. It's about, I actually know that I can feel good. I can feel fulfilled every step of the way. And that the feeling is coming from me, not from my coach, not from my goal. And that's so great to communicate once again, because a lot of people are selling a lot of dreams, but are those dreams actually in alignment or close to your heart, actually fitting to who you are and just who, like, it's like you're shedding off that layer and you're just allowing yourself to come forth, or are you just taking your little caricature on the path and you'll go here and you'll be happy? Because it doesn't quite work that way.
So adding on to what you said, right? So I've been in this business for such a long time. And I still wonder, why am I not a millionaire? Because everybody says you can be a millionaire in 3 years, da, 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 da. You know, I started out broke, and all the rags to riches story. I've gone through money days, I've gone through without money days, and it was just a roller coaster, right? And so obviously at some point you start to blame God, blah, blah, blah. Why are you doing this to me? But now really on hindsight, I really understood why I wasn't given the money at that point, or why am I not given the power at that point? Because I was immature. Like I told you, I was a child. Why would you give a child $1 million? You wouldn't give a child a gun, or you wouldn't give a child power, because they would just ruin themselves. I mean, there are so many stories in the States where the child played with the gun and they shoot the father and shoot himself. You know, it's the same thing. And, you know, I really acknowledge my journey now. And you look at the online, okay, it's just another thing, right? So if you're in this bad mood, or if you feel shit about yourself, please do not go online, because it will gobble you up. Especially when people are, oh, look at my life. Da, 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 da. They always show the best side of them on social media. This is the fact. So, and then if you're not in the right space, or if you're not aligned at that moment, you go on to, oh, you know what? She's my junior. She started, like way before, like after me. And then how come she's got this, da, 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 and then why I'm still here? And, there is a reason why I'm still here. First of all, yes, perhaps I'm not doing as much work as she is, but there is also a journey. I always feel, if you have this like desire or this download that you're going to make $300 million, it's done. It is done. It's the process of you getting there. So I've come to a realization that God could have given me millions, but I would have lost it, or I wouldn't even be bothered on this journey. I think I know myself well enough. So it's like I probably would just lay back and just hang out and I'll just ditch this journey, right? Which is not the sole purpose. So I think, and I've come to a realization also, don't compare yourself with someone else's journey, because that plan is not for you.
Absolutely. That is so true. In any, like, that this is so true every step of the way. From the moment you want to make a change, are you changing for others? The moment you create something, am I creating something for others? It's so on point. Elyse, I could go on forever and ever and ever and ever. We have such a great chemistry, and it's as if everything that you're saying is like coming from my heart. It's like, oh, is that you or is that me who's speaking? But I would love to give you the space so that the audience can get to know you or follow you and just keep learning from you, because it's really valuable, and I think it would make a really big difference in their life.
Sure. So I'm sure you will prepare a show note for me, but right now you should go to Elyse-Anne.com, and that's where I blog, and join my group, the Spiritual Entrepreneurs with Elyse-Anne. Just go to Facebook and type in the Facebook Google bar there, the Spiritual Entrepreneurs, and you'll find my group. We have more than 19,000 members there, and that's how I met Natasha, and there are a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs there as well. So if you're looking to connect with like-minded people, that's the place to be.
Yes, sounds like fun. So everybody, check out Elyse's website, her Facebook group, follow her blog and her content. And if you missed it, you can head over to femininespace.com/Elyse-Anne. So that's ELYSEANNE for all the show notes, and just get all of that, the whole thing. So thanks, Elyse, for coming on. I really appreciate not only what you've experienced, but the honesty in which you share with others, and how what you're sharing it's true. It's not the fluff. It's not an empty promise. It's not a ladder that you put against a building and say to someone, anyone, not just your client, oh, climb up, and when we get to the top, it'll all be great. It really sounds like you're with them every step of the way, showing them this is the landscape and you can navigate it, but this is the whole landscape. And I'm a good teacher, so I'm not gonna try to hide that part, the scary part of the world, or this part, it's not meditative or light, and so let me get rid of that. It's a true reflection of life and how we can successfully deal with it and create from that place.
Yeah, exactly. Just remember, we are human beings. We're not here to try to experience the angelic experience. We are human beings, so we are given so many of the anger, the emotions and what. So fully experience it. They're here for a reason, and don't be afraid of it.
Yes, don't be afraid. And from that place of love and not from fear, you can get a lot done and it'll be much easier. So thanks,
Exactly.
Elyse, for coming on. Everybody will be talking to you next week. So have a good one. And until then, bye.
Bye.